Morning Show.
It's hard to think of anything more heartbreaking than this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we've done to our own assets. Okay, it's a super morning show, and we need to learn more. So let's see if we can speak to a few people. We have on the phone lines the Deputy CEO of PBC, Vivian Boadi, Ata Mudasiru, who is a production clerk at PBC Limited, which is in Buipe, Savannah region. And we also have Fifi Buafu, who is a public affairs manager at COCOBOD. Good morning to you all. Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Okay, I think perhaps we'll start with you, Fifi, and then we'll continue from there. You have heard about the predicament of PBC. How much of a concern is this to COCOBOD?
It is a concern because PBC is one of the very key license buying companies, even though we have a number of them, about 65 license buying companies. But PBC has been one of the very best license buying companies. Despite the fact that they've had some challenges in recent years, PBC continues to be the license buying company you can count on when you have to go to the hinterlands. And then the level of trust in time past farmers had in PBC is one also that's of a very important. It's very important to us because you know very well that these farmers will wish to do business with PBC. So yes, the challenges PBC is going through is of a concern to us.
What exactly are the consequences if PBC ends up collapsing? How will that affect COCOBOD?
Well, there are other license buying companies that will fill in the gap. But just as I indicated, with PBC, you know very well that during the light crop season, which some of the LBCs are not enthused in going out there to mop up the small beans from the farmers in the hinterlands, PBC is one license buying company you can count on. So in such a situation, the expectation will be to fall on other license buying companies who have not done very well in that regard. So the existence of PBC is critical to us.
With that in mind, did COCOBOD take any steps once it became clear that PBC was struggling? I mean, they've fallen from 30% market share to 8%. That didn't happen overnight. Did COCOBOD make any interventions when you discovered that there was a problem?
Well, COCOBOD has been working closely with PBC to find solutions to the challenges they face. For example, if you look at their books, it's difficult for them to raise funds. So COCOBOD has been working in ensuring that we are able to help them with capital for their business. All license buying companies are supposed to provide guarantee before seed funds. And seed fund is the money we give to the license buying company beginning of the year to do business. In the case of PBC, a special dispensation has been created together with SIGA and the Ministry of Finance, just so PBC will be able to access funds and will be able to stay in business. So yes, we are doing that. I'm sure Vivian is on the line, so she will tell you about the kind of collaboration we are having with them in terms of restructuring, trying to make sure that cost items that are not really core business, we are able to isolate them and make sure that they stay in business. So yes, COCOBOD has been supporting. It's unfortunate that we are where we are now, but trust me, but for the intervention of COCOBOD, I'm not sure we'll even be here at this point.
Right.
The situation could have been different, or worse, I should say.
All right, before we bring in the Deputy CEO, let's get an idea of the reality of the situation. Atam Mudasiru is a production clerk at PBC's Shea Limited, which is in Buipe. Mr. Mudasiru, thank you for your time. Tell us about the challenges that you have been experiencing.
Well, thank you very much. And let me say good morning to my bosses who are on the line. This situation about PBC Share Limited, though some few challenges were there already, but in recent years it has become manifest very clearly. and everybody could see. Everybody can see as we speak. But we, the staff, have been around for some time now, and then we have been assessing the situation. And then we have agreed, we have come to the conclusion that there are a number of issues that account to this, which we have grouped into three. The number one is the lack of raw materials. At first, when we used to be under PBC Limited, that is our mother company, the raw material, which is the main raw material, which is the shell nut, was abundant all over. PBC Limited could buy the shell nut volumes for us to be producing. And this is no more the case as we speak, because somewhere April 2019, we're told, though we don't have any document showing that our staff, that we're no more under PBC Limited, our parent company. And since then, our share nut issues have reduced to a point that as we speak, you can't even buy a bag of share nuts.
Wow.
Yes, we have a company that has the capacity to produce about 120 metric tons of share nuts a day. And as we speak right now, the machines have no problems, like major problems. They are ready to work, but where is raw material to work? We don't have. The other issue is the market. Let me say sustainable market. Because even before we ran out of the raw materials, the available raw material that were there, we produced shea butter and it was stored waiting for market. It took us a number of months, almost a year, before we could sell out all the butter. No, there's no sustainable market. You'll be there, and then some people will come, they want 20 tons, some will say they want 50 tons, and then we're having, at that time, that's the early 2020, we're having about 200 metric tons in tank. So the butter was being sold bit by bit, and as that time we're not producing to add, we have to pay bills.
Okay.
And then some of the share butter, some of the share nuts were collected on credit, so that in anticipation that we will sell and get money and then pay them, and then we also get to rely on the turnover.
Mr. Mudasiru, I mean, just a quick question here. So you are in business to, you buy the raw materials, you process, you sell. Now, how come you don't have money to buy raw materials? All this while, where were you getting the money from, and how come you don't have money today?
I'm just trying to explain what I know. That is, when we were able to get the raw materials, we produce and then sell the butter. But the butter was stored waiting for market, and we're not getting market. The small that we sell, we should to pay for other expenses and salaries as well.
Now, if the
along the line, we're selling off the butter that was there until the butter finished. We didn't have money again to go in and buy raw materials for production.
Now, if you have a market for butter and you have some raw materials available, isn't that the more reason why you can get more raw materials, because there's a market available for you? And so, yes, you were saying there was market for, the butter. Now, there
was no market for the butter.
There was no market for the butter.
Yeah. There was no market for the butter, so we had 200 tons which stayed in the tank for about 6 months, more than 6 months before it was being sold bit by bit. And you have to sell in volume so that we will be able to pay. You'll be able to pay those that you have collected the nuts from, and then you also have something to pay your expenses.
Yeah.
But in a situation whereby within a month you are able to sell about 20 tons or 50 tons, which one will you use to pay salaries and which one will you use to pay for nut creditors?
Mr. Mudasiru.
So as the months go by, we're selling in bits. Some were being used for salaries and another was used for electricity and other things. Because it's a factory, we can't just be there and then they'll come and cut the electricity.
Mr.
So along the line, the butter got finished and then there was no money to buy shea nuts again.
Right. Mr. Mudasiru, when was the last time you and your colleagues got paid?
The last time I can remember, let me see, I think that was July 2022.
So you haven't actually
July 2022.
So you haven't received a salary for 9 months.
For 9 months, yes.
Wow. Okay. So look, which official at your outfit is supposed to ensure that you are able to find markets, sell your produce, and continue running?
Well, as far as I know, because like PBC Shell Limited, we should have maybe a marketing manager or marketing officer who will be in charge of that. But I think that responsibility has been given to the supply chain manager since I came here. So since maybe it is not part of his main duty, I don't know. Or sometimes, though, I have confronted him to ask him, like, how, because we know that he has experience, why is it that you are not getting market and that? So his explanation was that, you need money to travel from here to even Accra or to Tema or some other places to look for market or even outside. But where is that money to travel? There's no money. So you may have the experience, you may have all the knowledge, but if you cannot move, how do you get the market?
I see.
I remember somewhere 2018, and then they traveled to China and Morocco to look for market. That was under the then general manager, the Honorable John Benham time. They went there, and then they went to look for market and all that. So when they returned, we didn't know what happened. Whether they were able to get some market, we don't know. As we speak. So I think that was the only time that I've seen them travel out to look for market or to do exhibition for the company. But the supply chain manager, as we all know, we say he is supposed to look for market. But I don't think it is part of his main responsibility.
Right. Okay, thank you. I want to bring in Madam Vivian Boadi at this point. She's the Deputy CEO in charge of Finance and Administration at PBC. Madam Boadi, is it accurate to say that PBC is on the verge of collapse? Hello, do we have Madam Vivian Boadi on the line?
Hello?
Yes. Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I hope you can hear me too.
I'm struggling very hard to hear what you're saying.
Oh, right. Maybe you can have a look at adjusting your volume settings on your phone.
Yes, I have. I've adjusted the volume. But
okay. I'll try and speak as clearly as possible.
Okay.
I'm asking, is it correct to say that PBC is on the verge of collapse?
Thank you, Kojo. Thank you, and thanks to your listeners. Yes, we could say PBC is on the verge of collapse if nothing is done about it. And exactly what management is doing, this was seen because since 2013, PBC has been making consistent losses, and so management is trying its best to turn around the company at this moment. So yes, if nothing is done, PBC is on the verge of collapse.
So I suppose the thing that baffles some of us is that it seemed that PBC had the perfect business model. You have guaranteed sellers, farmers who will sell you cocoa, and you have a guaranteed buyer in COCOBOD who was even giving you seed money to do your business. How did it go wrong? How did a sure thing turn into something on the verge of collapse?
Thank you very much, Pedro. PBC, from the time of incorporation, that is in May 2000, has been without working capital. It would interest you to know that PBC relied heavily on bank loans and overdrafts to finance its operations from that time till around 2018, when SIGA, COCOBOD, and the Ministry of Finance stepped in to help the company. yes, we have guaranteed sellers, which is the farmers. However, you need the funds to be able to get the cocoa from those farmers. And just like I was listening to the documentary, if we cannot rely solely on COCOBOD seed fund, that is why in the past we used to do the overdraft as a short-term financing gap to be able to get the cocoa before the seed fund sets in around October, November, and then we can carry on our business. So that is what PBC was doing since 2000. It got to 2018, PBC could no more source for funds for its operations because of its high indebtedness to the bankers. We were paying as high as 150 million in terms of finance costs at a point in time, and definitely the operations of the company and the margins could not sustain such high costs. Again, there were other operational costs, huge operational fixed costs, which was heavy on the company, and therefore it was virtually impossible to be able to do that routine, that cycle of funding cocoa purchases. We can compare PBC to our competitors who are foreign-based. They have the liquidity, they have the fluidity to be able to go to the market faster. From 2019, PBC has to wait for COCOBOD seed fund to be able to go into the market. And that is what has accounted for the decline. I must say that if not for the timely intervention of our stakeholders in 2019, the company wouldn't be where it is today. So, yes, we are trying our best to turn around. And just as you indicated, we have the guarantee by the sellers are there, but they need money to be able to do it. And if you don't have the money, you cannot buy the cocoa.
Well, Madam Vivian Boadi, that's where the challenge is. So you have sellers, you have buyers. Your job is to get money and buy. That is your core function. How then do you run at a loss when your core function is to buy and sell? Buy from people who are there and sell to people who are ready to buy.
Okay. Thank you, Roger. I think looking at the finances way back, PBC relies solely on margin. And I believe that is why in the thinking of management at a particular point in time, they decide to diversify the income stream of PBC. PBC relies solely on margins from COCOBOD. So if you buy, you sell, and your cost of operations are higher than the margins that you earn, definitely you run into losses.
Great.
And that is exactly what happened in the years past. We've been able to try, when you look at our finances for the last 3 years, even though we were not doing too well, but at least we were able to minimize the losses and even turn profits, I think 2 years ago, about 1.5, major profits of 1.5 million. So it's all about strategizing and being able to control your costs. And from 2013, as I indicated, the company consistently had losses in this account till 2018, 2019, when we had to pull the brakes up at that point. So once you continue to make losses for that long period of time, you definitely run into cash flow issues.
Exactly, and talking about operation cost and operating expense, that's something in your budgeting process you always would know. For instance, if you're to do this and that based on the margins, these are the profits or losses that you would make. Would you agree with me that over the period, PBC has not been managed effectively?
I would say that over the period that we are talking about, the pattern of loans and other finance costs also greatly impacted on the operations of PBC. As I indicated, management then, in its thinking, decided to diversify into PBC share and then the Golden Bean Hotel. And all this came from the flows from PBC to be able to set up these strategic investments, which were supposed to give us a certain return to be able to augment our income stream. The decision was good, but however, maybe I would say the implementation and the management of costs might have been a little challenge. PBC at a point had over 1,000 and almost 1,200 staff working on only PBC alone on our payroll. Currently, we are at around 748, and we even realize that even if we go further, we'll be able to still run this business and be able to. So it's all about management thinking at any given point in time. I don't know what they were thinking then, but I believe they were also trying to do their best to reverse that.
How long have you been at PBC, Ms. Boadi?
I have been in PBC since 2002, but not in this capacity.
Right. Okay. So you've actually worked in the company for some time, but you became Deputy CEO when?
In 2021.
2021. Okay. So you have experience of how the business runs. You weren't brought in from outside with no knowledge of the business.
Exactly.
Right. So when that injection of capital came, that seed money came, it was used to buy cocoa, to sell to COCOBOD for a margin. But your operational cost exceeded the margin. How and why?
So, taking you back from when I joined, when I became a DMD FNA in 2021, that is when we decided to look at our costs again, and then try to pull down a lot of the cost centers had to go because we realized that we're spending on things that were not the core operations of PBC. So we stopped a lot of that as well. So we pulled the brakes on a lot of expenses. And the late CEO, Honorable Okweku Edia, he was very passionate about making sure PBC is sustained and be able to do the market share and not not collapse. So whenever you suggest, yes, it was doable, we do it. And that is how come I said we made a mega profit of 1.5 million. So we were turning the company around at that point. If you check from 2021, we paid staff salary the whole 12 months. We didn't have any problem with cash flow. In 2022, we had issues. Even at that time, the company was even able to go to CBG to borrow some money to be able to do the pre-seasonal purchases before the COCOBOD seed fund came. So we realized that the company, yes, there were things that were going right for us. The losses didn't start in 2020 or 2021.
Yeah.
The losses of PBC started way back in 2013. And that is where I would want everybody to know that it's not as it's being portrayed that the current management is the cause of the company's downward trend of the market share.
I think that's an important point. Yeah.
So I think that is when I listen to your documentary, that is what the impression that is being created.
Right.
But
that's why we're speaking. Yeah, that's why we're speaking to you, because you are there today, so you can give us a picture of what's happening today. So I'm interested in the situation since you became a member of management. So you've explained that you actually made a profit in 2021.
Yes, a small one.
So why did you need a loan in 2022? What went wrong?
I hope every accounting student will tell you profit is not the same as cash flow. So profit simply tells you that yes, the operational cost, everything is being managed. But mind you, in 2019, PBC had a lot of people were owing. In 2021, it was, I think 2020, we owed 715 million. And the 715 million were mainly to the banks, to staff, to statutory deductions, that is SNEP and Tier 2 contributions, and then to COCOBOD at that time. So we inherited a whole, or if I may put it that way, in the layman's language, of 715 million.
Right.
So you have to do, and these banks were magnanimous with us. They structured the facility. So any cash flow you get, you should be able to at least make sure that all your stakeholders are satisfied. So the seed fund is money that is given to license buying companies to be able to buy cocoa. And at the end of the day, whatever cocoa you buy, since we have a single seller, buyer, that is COCOBOD, automatically they take off their loans and then the margins come back to you to run your operations.
Okay.
So every year, I wouldn't say PBC is the only company that goes for seed fund from COCOBOD. All companies come, especially indigenous companies, go to COCOBOD for seed fund. And that is what Fifi explained, that you have to get guarantees, and guarantees comes with a cost. COCOBOD, Ministry of Finance, SIGA realized that that cost can also be used to service other things. So a special dispensation was provided for PBC to be able to get access to this seed fund and be able to work with it.
Right.
So technically, I wouldn't call that a loan. It's sort of a working capital that COCOBOD gives to all other LBCs.
Understood. So in a nutshell, you made a profit in 2021. You got seed funds in 2022, but by August 2022, you could no longer pay salaries. What happened?
Just as I indicated, operational costs should come from the margins. So let's see what happened. In 20 years, we made profit. And as I indicated, profit is not the same as cash flow. Again, in 2022, we bought, in fact, the calendar for cocoa starts from 2021 October and runs to 2022. In 2021-22 season, we bought 52,000 metric tons. 52,000 metric tons, when you calculate the margins on it and the cost of operations of PBC per month, definitely we would have still not been able to pay salaries even after March in 2022. But management was able to be able to have ways by cutting down those expenses, as I was indicating, and we're able to pay up to August thereabouts. So it's not that because we make profit, we should have been able to run a very good cash flow for 2022. I indicated that we had other lenders to pay. We made profit of 1.5 billion. Meanwhile, we're supposed to pay lenders 33 million every half year.
Right.
So definitely, we are going to run into cash flow if we don't buy more cocoa for that season.
Okay.
So that is why our issue is if we have the money early, then we'll be able to enter the market early, buy more cocoa, and then be able to get margins to pay staff and other operational costs.
Okay, we're running out of time, so I've just got to check this with you. Do you still own Golden Bean Hotel?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Are you making profit there?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. Obviously, this should be the beginning of conversations about PBC. It's an important institution. We need to figure out how to sort out the problems there. I want to thank you for your time with us. Thanks to all of our guests who have joined us this morning. We appreciate your time very much. When we come back, we'll wrap up on this issue. Still a lot to think about.